So hey there, and welcome to Unheard Gems. We are your go-to place to find the next big rising star in music. And today we are joined at the Fonda in Los Angeles, California by an artist who graced my top 5 artists and 3 of my top 5 songs
Damn.
on my Spotify Wrapped. So this is an artist to watch, Blake Rose. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And so we followed your music on Unheard Gems for a while now. We talked back in 2018. I think I mentioned that Sammy and Karen from
that's
Sydney
a trip.
recommended you. So I know I asked you about how you came up with yourself as a musician, but how has that changed in the last, 3 years now?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely changed a lot. Back then, I didn't really know who I was, what I was doing. I was kind of just making music, which was great, and I had good songs forming. But I think just over that period, I've gotten to know myself a bit more and just am more certain of what I'm doing and where I'm going, which is just a very satisfying feeling.
And then your debut EP recently came out this year, and
Yeah.
you have everything from some things that are super fun and danceable to a lot more heart-wrenching tracks. So
Yeah.
how did you feel putting this out into the world when you did? How did you feel writing all of these songs? What does this EP represent for you?
I felt very relieved because even though I didn't spend 3 years straight working on this project, the oldest song, which is A World Gone By, was 3 years old, is when the first voice memo is when I started the song, basically. And then over the last 3 years, I've just been slowly developing the music, and I maybe decided at the start of the pandemic, in March, sort of the songs that I was going to finish up and all that kind of stuff. And over that year, it was just a process of trying to wrap these songs up, which was a lot of fun, and also just very cathartic for me, especially during that period where everyone was just kind of lost and trying to figure out this whole pandemic situation. I was very lucky to have music and this project to work on, just to at least occupy me and get out of my head and out of this crazy social media world.
Absolutely. And then Adele recently requested that Spotify take the shuffle option off of her album.
Yes.
So track list is
So
obviously
good.
important.
Yes.
When coming up with your EP, how did that track list come about? And then when you're touring, how do you pick that track list?
So the reason I picked Casanova as the first song, it was partly because it was the single, but also because at the very beginning you hear a voice memo of basically all my close friends and my parents, all just in one hit in 3 seconds, because we were at this we were at a music venue, we were playing a show, and in the green room I was just hey, can you guys help me record some gang vocals? And we did it, and then I forgot to hit record, and then I pressed record, and then I was oh no, I wasn't recording, kind of thing, and it just all came together, and everyone's voices are in there, which I thought was really, really nice to start the EP. And then it was just I don't know, following the flow kind of intuitively of how I wanted it to go. And Heart's a Mess was definitely always going to be the last song, just because of how it rounds everything off. But everything in between that was just kind of shuffling things around and seeing how each song flowed into each other and stuff like that. It's not necessarily a full story kind of front to back, but yeah.
And then, I hate to do this, it's like picking a favorite pet or a child, but do you have a favorite song on the EP? It could be your favorite to write, not how it turned out either.
Oh, my favorite to write, hands down, was Heart's a Mess. That was a very out of body experience, kind of, as I was writing it. Can't really describe it, but just a very satisfying feeling making that song. And then I like Rollerblades. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to play live as well. It's the song that we opened the set with, and it's just a jam.
And then you're obviously touring. This is a massive tour. What, 30 plus stops on this one?
Yeah, I think it was 38 or 40 total.
So how has that been going? You've been nonstop for the last month and a half.
Yeah,
months now.
It's been wild, especially because this is the first tour I've ever done. So I didn't know what to expect, and everything's kind of just crashed into my world at once in terms of touring. It's been amazing, but I'm definitely tired, and I don't know, it's just a learning experience, the whole thing.
Yeah. And then I have to ask, not necessarily about the best memory from tour, but the most fun shenanigans that have happened on tour. Anything fun along the way?
Oh gosh, I don't know, I'm spacing right now, hold on. There's definitely some things I'm spacing, but the funnest experience so far on the tour was Minneapolis, hands down. That was the first time I'd experienced a crowd that was fully alive. And most crowds are very good, but there was another tier to Minneapolis. So that was amazing. Shenanigans, I don't know. There's definitely been a few. I'm just spacing right now, but I'll think. Maybe it'll come back.
And then we're super close to the new year, so I have to ask any personal New Year's resolutions or ones in music, anything that fans can do to help make some of those happen.
I think I'm gonna try journaling, like consistently, because I feel like that's helped a lot of people from what I've been hearing. So probably try and do that. That's just one random thing, and then I don't know, just the classic go to the gym. See how long that lasts.
And then I asked you this already, but I have to ask it again. I asked you what your favorite emerging artist was, and I asked that same question now. Who is the one artist you recommend right now that you think more people need to pay attention to, and why?
I'm gonna say Super Thick, which is a band from Perth. They're also friends of mine, but very unique music, but it still kind of could live in the pop world somewhat, which I think is really dope. Just like the way that the tones sit, it feels like it could still lean pop in some sense, but it's very like intelligent music, which I love.
Yeah. And then before we wrap up, I'd love for you to just plug any of your socials, any upcoming music if you have it, projects, share it all.
Sick. I mean, yeah, you can follow me anywhere at Blake Rose Music, and there are some new songs coming out, but I couldn't really say a date yet. But yes, there is new music coming.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Oh yeah, thank you.